how did I get to filmmaking? Yes, I got there by accident. I studied in journalism. I wanted to write, and so I did a lot of writing. I worked in as a copywriter in ad agencies a long time ago, and I won't tell you the whole trajectory, but I ended up doing trailers for film, like before it was difficult to do. It was a long process when we were working with the films, and that got me into film. Bizarrely, and I started a production house with some friends, and I started as a producer again. It was an accident because I wanted to see films. I wanted to help some friends doing their things, and I was managing that production house, and slowly I got interested on doing more of my things because I was always like helping others, and after a while I decided I would start my own project. I was born in Haiti. I never lived in that country. I was born there, but very early I came in Montreal with my family, and I was raised not to think about that country because my parents were always like kind of frustrated about that place that they were forced to leave. They were part of that community of people, educated people who needed to leave that country under Duvalier in the 60s. So the I didn't know much about that country. I knew more about the frustrations of my family about it. They were all often talking about that country in a very chaotic way. Like it was a lot. There was a lot of chaos in that country, and so I was not much curious about it. It came very late that I got curious about Haiti. Maybe 10 years ago when my grandmother died, and I kind of felt that there was something that was missing, something I had not been curious enough. I had these people around me who was carrying that rich culture, and I was not curious enough to go and dig in their memory. So when that event, that catastrophic event happened, I was just finishing Karsh's history, and I gave my previous film, and I gave my name to an organization because I wanted to go and do something, go and help there. So they hired me. I went there as a free bénévole, anyway, I went there for free. I spent 3 months in a camp as a volunteer to install camp, do food distribution, little kits to help people. I was in a big camp, 20 something, 20,000 people. It was my first experience in that sense, and I understood after a while that I was not habilitated necessarily to be there. Neither me, neither a lot of people. So I start thinking of doing something about the dysfunctional help in that country. All things. I mean, I went there spontaneously because I wanted to help, but I might have been there for helping myself as well. I was not. I didn't have the competence, the ability, the experience, and to be in an emergency context like that. So I start writing about it, and I wanted I would have done something very critical about that aid in Haiti, but finally I decided I would try to reveal things that I found rather positive about the country, because we always hear about very negative things on Haiti, it's always like what we get in the news. It's always negative, and actually, the big revelation of my trip was to realize that these people had a very rich culture, and we didn't know much about it. So that was my motive and it was way more positive with that in mind to do that film than, again, like so many other people, to critic the politic or the way things goes there. In general, my motivations to do film, to do documentaries. I, um, I don't want to sound I don't want to sound pretentious, but I don't know. I want to do something useful. I want to be useful, and I think that by revealing some side of our cultures or the society, I think that if I can bring some lights in some aspects that we don't consider enough, I have the feeling I can be useful. I pretend to be useful like that. I wouldn't say that it's not a way of expression. I'm not that. I don't see myself. I don't have that motivation, that personal motivation to express. I much have the. I have a curiosity, and I have that curiosity to reveal things. The same way I was kind of repulsed from IT during my life a long time. I think it was because of politics. Because I heard all my life I heard people like criticizing the politics in Haiti. How come we don't have a more democratic country, more progressive country? How come people like the people of Front National in my film? How come they are left on their own and they don't have? There's no state to help them. I heard those critics all my life. There was Asian people. I think I'm sure it's like that. It's still like that. They love it's politics is a kind of sport. They love talking about politics. They meet every time you have a birthday meal somewhere. People they will talk about politics, and they have a lot to talk about. I heard a lot of that noise when I was growing up here in Quebec, and I don't know. It got me allergic to politics because I hear that blah blah all the time, and it doesn't. I felt that it was not doing much. It doesn't create anything. It does not. Maybe it's good to talk about it like that, and it makes a lot of noise, but it doesn't. There's people. Everybody have their own proposition, and they have their own ideas how things should be ruled. But the bottom line is, in Haiti, I didn't perceive much progress in that, much result in those political discussions. Something that was way more appealing to me was that culture, was the way of life, the art in Haiti. There must be some kind of intersection because as that woman that in the film that was talking about the way that they are left on their own, she also saying how she likes to dance and how she likes to how voodoo brings her back to life somehow. She likes to and she needs those. She believes in these. They have strong belief in spirits and loas everywhere rather than politicians. It's like something that is not. It's like if the politic would not bring anything to them. My new project's a film about again. I'm back to architecture, architectures and cities. I met a woman last year Actually, I was doing some research on the city of Montreal, and I found that story about that woman who, in the 1960, she she saved old Montreal. They were going to destroy old Montreal, and they were going to have an highway there on Rue de la Commune. Um, it was real. Like in those years, they would destroy around Radio Canada. There was also in the Golden Square Mile here. They had that habit the idea was to to make tabla rasa to start from scratch, and let's build a new city, and and there was no consideration for that patrimonial area that was not declared patrimonial at that time yet. So she had that. Her name is Blanche Lemko van Ginkel. She did many interventions, very serious intervention like that in Montreal. She also did the master plans of the with her husband. She did the master plan of Expo 67. So true, and I met that person. She's 91 years old. I met her last summer, and I went to do some interviews with her in Toronto. And through her story, I want to propose a reflection on the way that we should dream about our country, the way that we should project ourselves rather than improvising all the time the way we do in a city like I don't know, Griffintown, the way we put band-aids in everywhere, and we think we'll calculate everything to make it fit, but we need to rethink the city. We need to project ourselves a bit better, because with the cities that are that are spreading and being dense more with a bigger density of population, we need to be able to see 50 years ahead, the way that person was projecting herself in the 60s. So it's a film about the transformation of the city, and also what I found very interesting was the architecture by women, because urbanism and architecture often have been has been conceived by a boys club, and for the cars, and we need to get out of there. And I think that through the vision of Blanche, we could learn a bit more, and we could it should help us maybe to project ourselves better in the future. What kind of change in the distribution and the support of documentaries I would like to see in Canada? I would definitely like to see more events like Cinema Politica. That's I don't want to plug Cinema Politica in your, but it's definitely something good for documentary, because the windows are less and less present. There's less windows for theatrical windows for documentaries, and you do a film, you spend all that time on the film, and after that you have your little 2-3 weeks of window in Excentrice or Beaubien. So when there's not only windows but events like RIDM festival, or events like the one of Cinema Politica, it's good, because then it's a manifestation where when people can correspond with with the directors and the makers of film, the filmmakers. This is the positive side. I'm not positive that much about that future of documentary, because there's a lot of cuts that makes that try to reduct that documentary production into a little window for television. Like if we could quickly do documentary, it's more and more difficult to do documentaries. I started then maybe 12 years ago, and it's getting more and more difficult to make that trip. But I still think it's important. It's definitely important to support it as well from on the theatrical point of view. It's we need that window to correspond with the public of our film.